Okay, before I start this stream, this is just a quick disclaimer. This is not advice. This is just my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. I am just a moron. However, we're in the money. We're in the money. Yeah, we're in the money. VXRT. VXRT. And if you're with me, we're in the money. Woo! We in the money. We in the money. All right, here's the deal. VXRT, biotech, therapeutics, vaccine. They are a front runner now. Like, they are not playing games. And honestly, just take a look at this thing. Look at the chaos of this stock. Let's back this up. All right. This may scare some people. This thing does look like a mountain, right? And it looks like it's already had its run. It ran up, it hit 14, it trended down. But then look at this punch up right here. Worked its way right back up. And now it's trading positive again. And why is that, you might ask? Let's take a look at the news on VXRT. Here we go. Well, first of all, anything that hits CNBC and that dude Jim Cramer talks about it on live television, it's always going to pump it up a little bit. But I want to talk about this. So this was last month. This news report was from June 26th. It says, a developer of oral vaccines said Friday its oral COVID-19 vaccine candidate has been selected to be tested for efficacy in the U.S. government's non-human primate study. That means they're testing the vaccine on monkeys. And if you're an animal lover, I get it, but if you think about what happened with Moderna when they did their human studies, they had some issues, right? And those issues really affected the stock. So, I mean, typically, like, when any drug or product, like even things like shampoo and food products and stuff like that are tested, they're usually tested on primates first. We know that. Anyway, so when this news hit, so if you take a look back on the dates here, this was the 26th. Right here. That was the peak of the mountain. And then, it kind of cooled off. Here, let's zoom a little bit. Ran down the mountain, it kind of cooled off. And then another rally. Cooled off. Smaller rally. So you can see that the amount of volume started to die out over time and pick back up a few days ago. Now this thing is trading. It never really traded sideways, but it did have, like, if you look around here, that was kind of a sideways trade. But let's take a look at something else here. I'm just going to do a 3-minute. All right. Now this is interesting. So this is what happened yesterday. Toward the end of the day yesterday, around like 3:30. The stock decided to rally up. I'm going to guess this was some institutions, hedge funds, the big boys, not us crumb traders, buying in and rallying the stock up. Look at how wide the VWAP opened when that happened. So, and then this morning, this was pre-market. So this was after market here. This was pre-market here. You could see in the morning, the stock sold off a little bit, rallied up. The volumes were pretty insane. You're looking at 3-minute bars, and each one is about 500,000 shares. Then quite a bit of a sell-off. The sell-off here was probably people locking in profits, some people that were holding overnight. I'm one of those people, so what I decided to do with VXRT is I bought calls. Anyone who does options trading, actually, I should say anyone who does not do options trading, what a call is basically I'm buying a ledger. So I'm not really I don't own the shares, but I'm buying the right to purchase shares at a determined price, which is called a strike price. That strike price happens at a date of execution. So if I buy the call, and let's say, for example, so the calls that I bought were $5 calls, which is kind of a safe range. Like this thing right now is trading at $8, and yesterday after market, it was trading at almost $10. So the reason I bought the strike at $5 is like a just in case this thing decides to pull back heavily on the date of execution, I can still buy up the shares at $5. And I'm entitled to 100 shares for every contract I purchase. You can buy multiple contracts, and each one of those contracts is linked to 100 shares of common stock. So in most cases, when I buy call options or put options or sell them, I won't get into that because that's kind of crazy. I mean, I could, but I normally sell the contracts before the date of expiration. However, with this stock trading the way that it is, and you can see, yeah, I see a downtrend there too. I'm not worried. I think that the potential for this stock is massive. This could be a $15 stock by next week. So my the date of expiration on my contracts is the 17th of this month. Now, if I hold those contracts and let them expire on that date, I have the right to buy up to, I bought 5 contracts, so 500 shares at $5. What I'm thinking my play might be is to sell a few of those contracts between now and the 17th and possibly hold 1 or 2 contracts and buy between 100 and 200 shares. So something to think about if you are trading this stock. Now, if you're interested in just buying shares, that's cool. I think you're still safe. But if you want to do a short-term trade because of the volatility of this thing, my suggestion, just a suggestion, just my opinion, would be to buy calls or sell puts. So when you sell a put, your bet is that the share price will go up, and the person who's buying the puts is betting that the share price will go down. So I'm doing another Crazy Cash video. I'll probably talk a little bit more about options. In those videos, I kind of joke a bit, but I also try to give some semblance of valuable information, but in a comedic way. So take what I say on that show with a grain of salt. What I do here on Human is a little bit more like actually the way I trade. It is just the way I trade. So anyway, I'm in VXRT. I'm very bullish on this one. I'm not worried. Again, let's just pull out and look at the 20-day on this thing. This is scary, right? People are like, okay, it ran up. And that this is a sell-off. All these people down here that have been holding this shit, when this thing rallied, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to sell it off. If you were in something that went up from $2 to $14, you're getting the fuck out. I would, but I didn't. I got in. I'll show you where I got in. Around this zone here. I was right around here. So it rallied. So I'm still in a very positive zone. I'm just hoping for another one of these, but during market hours. So here's the deal. If you buy contracts can only be bought or sold during market hours. So that's from 9:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard. You can't trade a contract pre-market or after hours. So you have to hold it. And what you'll see is, like, for example, yesterday, if you got in here and this thing rallied up, you probably should have sold the contract at that point. But whatever, if you held all this movement here, all this positive momentum, where this thing went up to $9.90, almost $10, you couldn't sell the contract at that point. So you had to kind of just watch it rally and then watch it sell off and open around here at market open today. So, you won't actually see a P&L change, profit loss change on your contract until market hours. So keep that in mind if you do buy contracts, that you are limited only to market hours. So for example, let's do a hypothetical situation. Let's say you bought a contract here, right? Great buy time for anyone who's betting that the stock's going to go up, because it did. So then the thing rallies all the way up, right? And if you held, actually, you know what? Let me revise that. Let's say you bought around here, around the $8.50 mark. Okay? Then the stock rallies up. You think, oh, it's going to swing through till tomorrow. And at that point, it was at about almost $9. Then after hours, it rallies up to $10. And you're like, dang, I wish I would have sold those contracts. But you can't. You're locked in. During these hours, you're locked in. Then it sells off. And it opens at 868 and dips down to 784. Well, that might scare some people away, depending on how long you're holding the contract for. You might have had a July 10. I tend to like to do weeklies, because that gives you a lot of time to sort of make a decision and decide whether you want to hold or not. Anyway, just something to think about. Like these gray areas, these after hours and pre-market times, you cannot sell those contracts. If you have shares, you can sell. So if you were in this rally, if you got in down here and you were in this rally and then it pushed up to here and you were like, oh man, this thing is crazy inflated, I really don't think it's going to go any higher, you could sell your shares and boom, done, lock in your profits, that's it. But if you're someone like me who bought contracts, you're holding over this entire period and hoping that sometime during the market hours it rallies back up. So that's it. VXRT, I'm super bullish on this one. I think this is a really dope stock. I think that they're a huge contender for the COVID vaccine, and they're at least going to chip and get a piece of that, whether that's the distribution or the type of pill or how it dissolves or whatever. I don't really know. All I know is this thing's moving in the right direction. Yeah, I get it. Some people might be like, no, it's not, kind of like it's on a downtrend here. It's kind of doing a head and shoulders, but I think that's more of an effect from what's going on with the market. Like if you just take a look at the market, this is the entire market right here, and it's a bit mixed other than, the real, super mega caps, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. The rest of the market's looking pretty red. What's this one? Here's something to look at. BIB. BIIB. It's up 5% today. It's not cheap. So if you're going to look at this one, be prepared to spend almost $300 per share. That could be a potential contract trade. Also, another thing to keep in mind is if you don't want to buy really expensive shares, because you can only buy one or a few because you have a smaller account, something to consider would be options trading, because you're leveraging those shares. You don't actually own them, but you're entitled, but you can resell them and make just as much, if not more profit than you would if you were to buy up thousands of dollars of shares. So that's it. I'm done. This is just a quick stream. I just want to talk about VXRT, ticker VXRT. I think this one is a great play. That's my opinion. Do what you want with it, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.